pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's meeting is a hybrid format where you can appear in person or via Zoom or call in. The Zoom address is on the website. I'm going to take the roll call. Christine?
Here.
Art?
Here.
Tony S?
Here.
Tony G? Larry?
Here.
Christine?
Here.
Okay, and Phyllis. Okay, we have a quorum tonight. I make a motion to begin with to accept. I make a move that the ZBA adopt the procedures for member video conferencing pursuant to Public Officers Law 103-A as written, and direct the secretary to have those procedures posted to the website.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion about that? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Then that motion carries. What? Art.
What?
And now with that passed, I think Tony Gates is now present, so. All right, for those unfamiliar with the procedures here before the Zoning Board of Appeals, there's an agenda which lists the order of each application. Each applicant will have an opportunity to come before the board, be sworn in, and describe their application. Any member of the public, whether in person or out on Zoom, is also sworn and is welcome to come in and comment on the application. At the end of the procedure, if all the information and evidence is presented, we'll close the hearing and move to the next item on the agenda. At the end of the agenda, we may take a short break, or if this is a short agenda tonight, we may simply go into deliberation and decide on each application. The applicant can either remain during the entire meeting, or they can find out tomorrow from the zoning administrator. With that in mind, let's go to item number one. AT&T Timely Signs of Kingston. Is someone here for that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, why don't you state your name?
Tyson McCaslin, on behalf of Timely Signs.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right, why don't you describe this application?
Sure. The client AT&T is looking to get a variance for a larger sign that's allowed. I believe the allowed size is a 16-inch letter, and they're looking for a 24-inch letter.
All right.
For two channel letter sets, one on each side of the building.
Okay. And I understand there's an additional request for a sign, but that's not on for tonight. Is that accurate?
Is that the hanging sign?
Yes.
Yeah.
The client has agreed to just go with the one sign for that specific one, so that's off the table.
Okay. And you've submitted some documents or shown some illustrations of the different signs. Are you able to describe which ones reflect the one you're looking for, and then which one would fit within the code?
Yes, they originally in the smaller set, which does not have a rendering of the actual building on it. It's like a two-dimensional. The one that they have that shows the drawing of the actual building with the letter set in place in color is the one that they're going for. If you're looking at it, the first page, where they have a logo, it should say A, B, C, D, E, F. It would be the one that has the letter A as 2 foot 0 inches, showing AT&T at 24 inches high or 2 feet.
Are you able to show the signage on your screen, or
Yeah, if I can.
you can share your screen? Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, did we swear him in, by the way?
Yes.
Lisa asked that
Yes.
question. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Share screen, here we go. Okay. Okay, if you can see that on the screen there.
Yep.
This is the proper letter set with showing 2 foot tall. And here is the rendering of the building itself on one side of the building. And if I scroll to the second page, you will see the same letter set over here, 24 inches high. Again, this is the AT&T portion of the letters, and here is where it is on the other elevation of the building.
All right, and then do you have an illustration of the one that fits within the code?
I do. Let's see if I can share that one as well. Oh, no, I just have to go and change that on my side. Yep, that's this one here, so I apologize, I don't have a view of it rendered like the other one did there. But this, in our mind, it looks too small on the side here. On the other side,
What size letter is that you're showing now?
let's see here. Go back out here. Excuse me, it was 18 inch, not 16 inch, I apologize. I believe 18 inches within regulation, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the maximum
I
letter.
apologize, yes, this is the 18 inch, is this version right here. I'll zoom back in. This is on the one side of the building. And then I will go to the other side as well. Here it is on the other side of the building here.
All right, and do you have an overhead illustration of the visibility of those facades within the complex?
Let's see. I did have a rendering. Oh, here we go.
No, that's,
Is that what you're looking for? Oops, I'm sorry. Is that what you're looking for?
I want to get an idea of inside the complex where I would be seeing those facades.
Not sure if I have that here. Well, I mean, this rendering here, if I keep it zoomed out a little bit, might help get you what you need. So there's from, I know it's a rendered view, but that is from the parking lot there.
All right, so can you tell me how far it is from that storefront to the parking lot?
I do not have that information. I can't honestly give you that information here if I do not have it.
Okay, and I think I had to tell you that the county, we're waiting for a response from the county, so we won't be able to decide on your application tonight.
Understood?
But I think that, at least I would like to know, I would like to be able to see some rendering of the visibility of the sign from within the complex.
All right, no problem.
yeah, this image here is from Winslow Gate Road, which would be the interior, quote, Main Street Road in the project. The other side of the other sign that he was showing is from the parking lot, which is basically against Route 9, although it's elevated, so nothing's probably visible from Route 9.
So the first one's from ShopRite then?
The first one is from, well, yeah, it's from the ShopRite side of the building, that's correct. Who's that? Mute, okay, sorry. Just mute this one too while we're at it, okay. The other thing, the signage that you see on the building rendering there that is, it kind of makes you feel like this sign is maybe smaller or larger. Those signs are not approved, like those aren't,
Refer to this.
Right. So none of that is actually, been approved, and probably, some of it is probably larger than what's allowed under the code as well. So it's not really a good for comparison's sake, just to keep that in mind.
All right, those are all the questions I have.
So
Christine?
the picture that you have up right now, how many inches is that sign?
That's the 24-inch tall letters, the AT&T.
Okay.
Would you be able to provide the same kind of rendering as that with the 18-inch letter?
Sure, no problem.
All right, and take the other signs off maybe, just since they don't really exist, so we're not
Yeah.
looking to compare them?
No problem.
Thank you.
That's
Anything
all
else?
for me.
Okay, Art?
I've got a basic question, excuse me, see, I'm catching it from you. Basic question, since you can't see this from Route 9, does the county still have to weigh in?
Yes. It's within 500 feet of, the property's within 500 feet of Route 9, the state highway, so they have to
Is
wait.
that close?
Yeah.
No, I'm good, thank you.
And you're gonna have a spot on the monument sign?
Yes, there are, let me zoom out here. Yes, right here.
Okay.
So that is taking up, they have it shown here. If you look at this top right, let me zoom in a little bit here. On the right side here,
Yeah.
right next to Chipotle.
Okay.
Burger King.
Larry?
No questions.
Tony S.
No questions.
Tony G.
Yeah, would it be possible to provide like what the actual footprint that the store is gonna be? Because when we were driving around, no one could really answer that for us. We thought it was next to the Smoothie King, but we weren't 100% sure.
You wanna know like where it is in the
In
red
the plaza, yeah.
Understood, yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Who was that?
That was Lisa.
Oh, well then go ahead.
And the globe that's on that is, am I correct that when the letters are 2 feet tall, the globe is 3 foot 4 inches? Is that what that chart is saying?
That is correct.
Okay. And what would the size of the globe be when it's the 18 inches on the sign?
Tell you right now.
About 2 foot 4 inches.
2 foot, yep, just under 2 foot 4 inches.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
Tony, did you have anything else? Tony G.
No, I'm good, thanks, Paul.
All right, anyone from the audience who wishes to comment on this application? There's no one in this audience, but anyone on Zoom that wishes to comment on this? And if you would unshare your screen.
Oh, sure.
So I muted a couple people who are on phones, but if you needed to unmute yourself, if you wanted to comment on this, you could hit *6 to unmute yourself.
All right, I'm not seeing anyone. Any board members have any additional questions at this time?
Just saw someone with the iPhone unmute for a minute there. I don't know, was that deliberate, hoping to unmute? I guess not. Okay.
All right, in that case, since we have to wait for the county's response, I move to adjourn this to the February 13th meeting.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Then that motion carries. All right, that brings us to item number 2, and my understanding is that the applicant has requested an adjournment until February 13th meeting. Any comments on this or any discussion on this? Then I move to adjourn item number 2 to the February 13th meeting.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Then that motion carries. That brings us to item number 3. Andre Duncan, 10 Corin Drive. Is there someone here for that application?
Yeah,
All right, why don't you state your name?
Andre Duncan?
Mr. Duncan, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
All right, why don't you describe your application?
My application is for, basically to park cars in my driveway. I mean, I didn't, I didn't run, I have a medical transportation business. I've had it since 2017. And I just parked the cars in the driveway at night. And I was told that I would need to get a permit, like a special use permit, just to park in there. I did get a permit, however. I did get one permit last year, but it was it wasn't explained to me that you needed a special use permit because it was, more than one car.
What kind of permit did you get last year?
I don't have any of that in front of me, but she gave me a taxi, I don't know, some kind of taxi use permit or something like that, to
So-
park the car here on the premises.
What I believe, what I've been told is that Lizette had, my predecessor had given permits for one single unmarked taxi, not considered a commercial vehicle, like under the size amount.
Right.
I kept doing that for one vehicle, but anything more than one, then no.
Okay.
Yep.
And let me ask you this. I think you said you had 10 vehicles?
Yes,
All right, and they're all registered as livery?
yes.
How do they get this?
I-
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
How did they get through? No, they're registered under livery, yes.
Okay. And how do they get dispatched?
Well, how it works is 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, I put the cars in the street. Drivers come in, they park their cars, and then they leave. It's all dispatched off of a laptop to New York State. You know, they have their runs for the day, and then they're gone. They don't come back until 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, and how many employees do you have?
On site, there's 10. Off site, there I have 6 more.
How many?
Say that again?
They don't fit. On site, I have 10. Off site, I have 6 more that don't park their vehicles here.
Maddie, go sit down.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Am I, which, is the iPhone the one that we need to move?
I don't know. Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you operate every day?
Yes.
All right.
On Saturday and Sunday, I only work 2 hours.
Okay. And explain to me again how they get dispatched. How do you get calls?
Everything is done through New York State. They'll send me what needs to be picked up, and the drivers go out and they pick it up. They pick up from all over this county.
Okay. And do you do anything else other than non-emergency medical transports?
No, very rarely.
And what do you very rarely do?
Trip to the airport.
And what do you consider very rarely?
I think I had 3 last year, 3 trips to the airport last year.
All right, and the record should reflect that we got at least one. Were there more than one letters in response to this application?
I believe we had 2.
2?
Yep.
Okay. From neighbors that, in fact, stated about the cars parked on the street at 5 in the morning, saying that you start the cars up and let them run to warm up, starting at 5, or just moving them out of your driveway?
I pull them out in the morning, yeah.
Okay. And you keep them running until the drivers?
No, the drivers are, everyone's here before, right around 5:30. I mean, I don't get them out there till, you know, I'm not gonna burn gas. I mean, I bring them out soon when I know they're coming.
Okay. I think those are all the questions I have at this time. Christine?
I just wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind clarifying something that you said. New York State provides you with people who require transportation?
I'm sorry?
Did I understand you to say, I just wanted to clarify that New York State provides you with people who require transportation?
Yes.
So what agency of the state do you contract with?
Department of Health.
Okay.
Okay, that's all, thank you.
Art?
Yes. Excuse me. A couple of things. When we were out there, you had cars parked on, it looked like it might be your neighbor's lawn that don't fit in the driveway. Is that, you can't, it appears that you can't fit 10 cars in that driveway without parking on somebody's lawn, yours or theirs. The house to the right of you, facing your house, whose lawn was that? To the right of the driveway?
That's my lawn. That's my lawn.
Okay. And you are aware that you're not allowed to park on the lawn in front of a house, right?
I don't know if you're referring to the big black truck in the front. That's my car. I usually park right at the top of the driveway. I don't have to park in the lawn. I just choose to park there just in case someone has to get out.
Okay. And you also have, it looks like a big commercial vacuum cleaner on the property. How often do you run that? And does that run in the mornings?
No, that's only probably like mid-afternoon, if anyone ever uses it.
So, another question for you. If your driveway is pretty long and narrow, you have a wider space at the base of the driveway. If you have a car at the very base of that driveway, you have to move all the other vehicles to get it out of there, correct? So you could be doing a lot of maneuvering during the morning hours? Early in the morning?
No.
No?
Well, in the morning, I just pull them out one by one, and then everyone gets right in and they're done.
And your drivers all park on the street all day?
No, they park in a driveway.
So you move the cars out to the street, and then the drivers come in and park in your driveway?
Yeah.
And at the end of the
I
day,
do it in reverse, yeah.
then at the end of the day, everybody parks on the street until the drivers take their cars out?
No.
No.
In the morning, I pull the cars out.
Right.
The drivers will come in. They'll come in. They'll park the car. The driveway is clear, so they'll park all the cars in the driveway.
Right, but
then
now that your vehicles are parked on the street in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And then in the evening,
Yeah.
the drivers park your vehicles on the street until they get their cars out of your driveway.
No. In the evening, the driveway is clear, and the drivers just park the cars into the driveway. In the driveway.
So you move the drivers' cars into the street from your driveway?
Yeah. Twice a day. I do in the afternoon. I do, yeah.
All right, so the drivers' cars are parked on the street in the afternoon. What do you do in the wintertime when it's unlawful to park in the street?
What do you mean? Everyone stays in the driveway.
Well, everybody can't stay in the driveway at the same time. So there's some point where the cars, either your cars or the driver's cars, are in the street. Is that correct?
That's the hours I gave it. 5 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, the drivers. When I pull the cars out, everyone's coming in to go home. So the cars aren't sitting out there for hours. That's what I explained to someone in the office of the town hall.
Okay.
5 o'clock in the morning, I get up, I pull the cars out, drivers come in, they get in the car, they leave. In the afternoon, at 4 o'clock, from probably about 3:45, I'll pull the cars out, they'll come in, park the cars, and they go home. By 4:30, everyone's gone.
And do you do it this way because you say you can't find another location anywhere where you can do this business?
I've been looking everywhere.
Okay. Larry?
Those 10 people, are they employees or are they independent contractors?
They're employees.
And those runs to the airport, are those non-emergency medical runs?
Yes. Like I said, we rarely do those.
They're medical runs or they're just airport runs?
Not just air, like if someone calls me and said they want to go to the airport, you know, I would take
So
them
they're
to the
not,
airport.
so they're not medical runs?
No.
How would someone know to call you to do that?
I have business cards that I've been distributing since 2017.
And distributing
There's
those,
other stuff. Okay?
excuse me, what were you saying? So distributing,
Yeah, I'm
those-
saying, that's how we just advertise through business cards.
and all that advertising only gets you 3 rides a year?
No one likes to pay the price. I mean, they tell me I'm too expensive.
That vacuum in the driveway, when is that used?
Pretty much during the weekend. I mean, during the weekday they use it sometimes, but it's during the, you know, it's during the day.
Well, the drivers are out during the day,
Yeah.
so they can't use it during the day.
Yeah, well, they're not here. Yeah. I mean, if they use it, if they have this show up there, you know, if they want to use it, it'll be during the day.
Do they ever use it first thing in the morning before they pull out?
No. No, we don't make any noise in the morning. Other than starting the car.
Tony, yes?
Okay, on the arrangement with New York State, do you actually have a contract with the Department of Health to provide this service in Dutchess County?
Yes.
And are you the only provider in Dutchess County for this type of transportation?
No.
Okay, that's all I have for now.
Tony G?
Yeah, so, first of all, are you aware of any concerns expressed by the neighbors?
I have not heard anything from the neighbors. I mean, like I said, I've been doing it since 2017, and I have not heard not one complaint up until maybe the last year. I got one letter from the town of Poughkeepsie. And she said that someone sent her a letter, or called or whatever, asking why I had so many cars.
Okay, and my second question is, the total number of cars, what is the total number of cars in your business? Is it 10?
I have 10, yes, here on the property, yes.
So does that take into account your personal cars or personal vehicles?
No.
So would it be 10 plus any additional personal vehicles?
Yeah, I have 2.
Because when we were there the other day, I was trying to count, I think I counted 11 and that was during the day.
Yeah.
So we're really looking at more than 10 is the number of cars that we parked there.
Well, I have one car that I parked here, that I keep, I don't use it for the business, so. Hey. I want to put it for the storage unit.
Okay, I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Art, did you have something else?
I did. You just said that you have cars that aren't parked on the property. How many cars do you have in total, including them, and where are they kept?
I keep, I keep 2 cars at my mother's house.
So you have 12 then, okay?
Yes.
So you have 10. Okay. Now, when the people come in the morning, so there has to be some conversation, there has to be some noise level at 5:30 in the morning.
Actually, there's not.
So nobody says anything, they just get in the cars and drive away.
No, they just get in the car and drive away, yeah, only because, you know, it's a neighborhood. You know, we're not outside, you know, having coffee, we're not doing any of that.
And you're saying that in the town of Poughkeepsie, you are unable to find another place to park those cars?
Not a safe place. I mean, I've been looking since, you know, I've been looking for years. I just haven't seen anything that's suitable. I mean, there's a place on 9G, but I can't, you know, I can't get in touch with anyone. Sold or whatever, right across from the BMW. But I'm looking for a place with a shop. I can't find a place with a shop.
Do you work on the cars in your driveway?
No, I have a shop. I have a shop that is costing me a fortune.
Well, if you have a shop, why aren't the cars parked there?
It's a very small shop, and it's not my property.
Yeah, but if you're,
I'm sorry, I don't think I bring the cars to get fixed, not my shop. A maintenance shop.
I'm done.
What type of licenses do your drivers have?
Class E.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Any questions?
Well, just a couple more. In terms of maintaining the vehicles, I mean, you know, they have to be maintained in sound mechanical condition, right? And they all have to have a inspection once a year in this state, I believe, right? So.
Yeah.
So you do have somebody that maintains them in good mechanical condition and ensures that they could pass the inspection?
Yeah.
Right. And another thing that was mentioned in some of the comments that we got had to do with noise levels. In terms of people showing up at 5 in the morning with it sounded like people showing up with their personal radios blasting. That's the impression I got. I don't know if that's.
I think you might think they must be talking about the paper car that goes around 3 in the morning at 5 o'clock. That's not us.
At the same time that you've got a couple of your people going out?
Every day.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
5:15 they come by every day.
All right, anyone from the audience who wishes to comment on this application?
I know there's a couple people on the phone. You would need to hit *6 to unmute yourself if you're on the phone.
I'd like to make a comment.
All right, why don't you state your name?
Sharon.
Sharon?
I live in
Sharon,
the
excuse me, Sharon,
Hang on.
do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, I'm not sure if there are questions or concerns. I agree with the noise level, occasionally, but it's also the headlights early in the morning or late at night, later in the evening. The other thing is the speed. Some of them go a little fast. I think the speed limit is 30 in this neighborhood. I don't think they exceed it, but it's a very curvy, windy road. It's a cul-de-sac. And my other concern is about a garage. Ultimately, they want to build a garage. I know that's not part of this agenda, but I'm just voicing a concern. That's it.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hello?
Yeah, who is this?
George.
George?
Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to say?
So the question I had, it sounded like Sharon kind of touched on it, was in regard to the zoning. Will any of this change the zoning for this neighborhood here? And how would that have any effect whatsoever on taxes?
No.
I'm sorry?
No?
Okay, thank you. And one last question. If this application gets approved, will it be approved based on the applicant's 10 cars? Or is it approved in a general sense where there'll be as many cars as people can count?
I assume we would limit the number of vehicles if it were approved.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, I don't see anyone else, but I'm suggesting we adjourn this to the February meeting because I think I'd like to take another site visit, and do some background information about the prior permit that was issued, and I want to do some more research. So I move to adjourn this to the February 13th
Second?
meeting. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Then that motion carries. Okay, we'll see you next month. That brings us to item number 4. 19 Maple Road. Is there someone here for that application?
It's Marple Road, 19 Marple.
Marple, I'm sorry,
my
yes.
name's Amber.
Go ahead.
What's your name?
Amber Staffa.
Ms. Staffa, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
And if I understand this, you're the prior owner of this property, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you put your application in while you were the owner?
Correct.
Okay. So why don't you describe your application?
So it's just for a variance on my deck, previous deck.
Okay. You know how long the deck has been there?
Maybe roughly 6 years.
Do you know, did you get a building permit?
I did not.
Okay. And it's just the side lot, right? It's not the rear also?
No, it's just the sides.
Okay. And, all right, well, is it fair to say that the deck does not extend any farther or any closer to the side lot line than the primary residence?
Does not.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have. Christine?
No questions.
Art?
No questions.
Larry?
No questions.
Tony S?
No questions.
Tony G?
No questions.
All right, so for Chrissy, the pergola, why is there, it seemed to be, I thought that it was attached to the deck? Let me ask you this, it's all one deck or are they separated?
The deck is technically separate from the pergola.
Yes, but the pergola is attached to the house.
Attached or detached?
Attached.
It is not attached to the house.
Not
It is
attached
attached
to the
to a roof overhang.
So it's it's still attached to the house.
Okay, all right. Then I think that's all I have. Anyone from the audience who wishes to comment on this or in the Zoom world? I'm not seeing anyone. There are 2 people that are still signed in. Was there some item that you wanted to comment on? Either Carolyn Henderson or Robert?
No.
Okay.
Robert just unmuted.
Yeah, hi, I just unmuted, I just wanted to listen on the 10 Curtin Drive agenda, so, and that's passed, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right, then I move to close the public hearing on item number 4.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then that motion carries. So let's bring it here, and what do you think about this application, item number 4? Any concerns?
No.
It seems to have existed for quite some time. It
Somehow
doesn't
got overlooked with the sale of the house
Yeah.
prior to the sale, right, whoever did the inspection.
I think that it came up, they noticed it, but it just didn't get corrected before the sale, so,
So they just have to get a building permit and,
right. Okay, all right, do you mind making this motion?
I don't.
Nobody else had any concerns, right? Tony G? Okay,
No concern.
okay.
Do we need mine?
Oh, I suppose. Let me offer these findings. Whether an undesirable change will be reduced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. It's existed for a number of years. It has no further encroachment into the side lot line than the regular house, and it's consistent with other properties in the neighborhood. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. This is the only method that feasible for the applicant to pursue. And whether the requested area variance is substantial. Mathematically it is, but since it has no further encroachment into the side lot line than the primary residence, it's de minimis in that regard. And there's no evidence that there's any physical or environmental impact in the neighborhood or district. And although the difficulty was quite clearly self-created, that's not a reason to deny the application, and I would offer those findings. Now, Christine, are you ready?
Okay. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 4. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Then that motion carries. That brings us to the end of the agenda, other than lead agency request from the planning board, site plan and architectural review, 174 Innis Avenue. The applicant proposes additions to an existing building structure at this address. Anybody have any objection to referring them as lead agency? Then let's see. I move that we agree that the planning board is the lead agency for site plan and architectural review of 174 Innis Avenue.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Then that motion carries, and I move to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
That motion carries, and good night, and thank you.
Aye.
Wow.
He's got-